Hi friends, good morning. Welcome to Myra, your path to success. And yeah, welcome to intermediate, the most important level of CA. Now I regard intermediate as the most important level due to two reasons. One, this level you're learning lot of new subjects. Yes, lot of new subjects are there. Taxation first time, costing first time, financial management first time, auditing first time, IT, information technology first time. This all is creating a base for you. The intermediate subjects are the same, which will again be coming in finals. This is creating a base for you, and if base is weak, it always becomes difficult later on. And second, it's pretty lengthy. Seriously, it's pretty lengthy. The time which you have for CA intermediate, they give you 8-9 months time, or say 10 months time, and in that 10 months time to cover up this 8 subjects, actually it's not 8. Your FM and economics, they are one paper. Your SM and IT, they are one paper. Actually it's not 8 papers, it's actually 10 papers. To cover up this 10 papers in a period of this 9-10 months becomes very difficult. Yeah, same we have 8 subjects in finals. Most of the subjects are repeated. You have accounts again in final accounts. Your costing again in final costing. Your tax again in final tax. Your law again in final law. Your financial management again in final financial management. Yes, many subjects are common. It's just that in final you're getting 3 long years. You clear your intermediate, exam of final will come after 2.5-3 years. But for intermediate, to finish this 8 subjects, that too we are learning first time. And in this 8 to 10 months, that becomes difficult. So it's just lengthy, which makes it difficult. So this is the most important level of CA due to 2 reasons. One, you are creating a base. Second, it's pretty lengthy. You need to make sure you are dedicated. You are dedicated. Yeah, it won't be difficult. It's just lengthy. You need to be dedicated from beginning. Many of you might have cracked your foundation by studying 15 days or 1 month time. Yeah, you studied 1 month, you cracked foundation. Rest assured, this will not happen in inter. No, it will not at all happen in CA intermediate. And most of the students who leave CA, they leave at this level. They are not able to crack intermediate, they leave CA. And those people who crack their intermediate, 99% they'll finish the CA. I have not seen people leaving CA in final. Few exceptions are there. There are very few people who are not able to crack final and they left out. But if you are not able to crack intermediate, many of you might leave it. So just make sure that this level you don't take it lightly. You crack it out in the first attempt itself. Most important level of CA. Okay, about me. I'm Niket. I cleared my chartered accountancy in November 2008. Yes, almost 12 years. I cleared my chartered accountancy, and since then, I'm teaching all you lovely students. I have my physical classes basically conducted at Bangalore as well as Hyderabad. Plus, I take crash batches at various centers. Yes, for online education, I am at Myra Education. Plus, I also take other classes which are with Yashash Academy, which is in Bangalore. We have a base over there. So since 12 years, I'm teaching all you lovely students. So good amount of experience. Yeah, I did my articleship at Deloitte, one of the big 4. So very good exposure I had during my articleship phase. And it was a lovely time. I really enjoyed it. And this phase also I'm enjoying it. So that's about me. More details about me already there with you. You have it in your book. Okay, now coming to the subject, accounting. Accounting is a very important subject in your chartered accountancy course. In CA course, it's a very important subject. 200 marks of accounts in your intermediate. Group 1 accounting, 100 marks. Group 2 advanced accounting, 100 marks. The 200 marks are there in your intermediate. Again 200 marks in final. Yeah, final you have paper number 1, financial reporting, 100 marks. And in your paper 6, elective subject. Final may 1 subject is elective. You have global financial reporting standards. The elective paper also you can choose related to accounts. So total again 200 marks in CA final. 200 marks inter, 200 marks final. This is pretty important for a CA. And now after becoming CA also, this is what we audit. We audit the financial statement, we audit the accounts, and we give a report whether these accounts are showing a true and fair view. So from a chartered accountant's point of view, accounting is really very important. And you need to know it thoroughly. You need to know it thoroughly. Now coming to our video lectures. Our video lectures have been drafted in a manner that we take everything from basics. Yeah, we are taking everything from basics. We are going very slow. We make sure that you all understand accounting in a proper way. And one thing which I want from you is, please never see this video lectures lying on a sofa or sleeping on a bed. No. Sit on your study table with a book, your calculator, pen, pencil, scale, everything there with you, and you see it in your laptop or desktop properly. I want you to see these lectures normally sitting on a study table with concentration. And make it a system. Make it a system. Daily I'll watch. We have one lecture of 2 hours. So you make it a rule. Daily I'll watch one lecture or I'll watch 2 lectures. The 1 lecture or 2 lectures of the subject I'll watch on daily basis. It should not be, today I'm kind of feeling good, let me watch more. Or today I'm not feeling good, I don't watch it. See, video lectures are helpful whenever you are disciplined about it. Yeah. Whenever there are classes, you go every day, same time, you sit in a class, that's good. When video lectures are there at your place, only problem. Yes, you are getting best of faculties, but only problem is the disciplined approach from students is lacking. Assume you are having a regular class only. Whatever are your class timings, sit at home, close the room, close the doors, have a proper concentration while studying. So please don't do it lethargically. Do it with a great enthusiasm and a same amount of discipline what you have for a regular class. Only thing is, this video class saves your traveling time. Yes, traveling time is saved. Second, there's no problem of missing the class. Yeah, if you miss out a live class, it's a trouble. You can't get the same lecture again. Yahan pe, you have some urgent work any day. Okay, that day you skipped it. You can watch the videos next day. And third, yeah, after some time you feel like, oh, I forgot this point. You can go back and revise that point. So for that all, this video class is helpful. Saving your time, traveling. Second is, okay, urgency come up, your lectures are not messed up. Third is, if you afterwards want to recall something, you can go back to that point and revise it. For this purpose, you have video lecture. But if disciplined approach is not there, this will not be of proper use. You will not get the benefits what you should be getting. That's about our video lectures. Now, in our subject, we have covered up all ICAI book ke questions, plus all revision test papers of basically RTPs of ICAI, and the past question answers. So all RTPs, past question answers, ICAI book questions, everything has been covered. Please make sure you do our material properly. And tell you, every day, my habit is every day I take a lecture, there will be 1 or 2 questions for your homework. 1 or 2 questions for your homework, and I want you to do that. That writing practice is must. See, understanding is different, doing on your own is different. Every lecture I'll give you 1 or max 2 questions in for homework. Please make sure you do that homework questions on your own. And I tell you, all your homework questions will be from ICAI material only. And your homework questions directly comes in your exam for around 30 to 40 marks. So don't take homework questions lightly. Yes, they will be based on classwork question, but you can have a direct homework questions in your paper around 30 marks. So please ensure you do your homeworks properly, 1 or 2 questions a day. And remember, 1 question a day keeps the attempt away. Yeah, 1 question a day keeps the attempt away. Results are not that great. Foundation, the results is around 35-40%. Inter, the results are around 15 to 20%. Students clearing both groups together, 15 to 20%. I told you, it's not difficult, but yeah, it's lengthy. And because it's lengthy, students tend to give up in between. Because it's lengthy, students tend to give up in between. I just want you should not give up in between. Be disciplined in your approach till the last moment. Be disciplined in your approach till the last moment. Definitely success is there for you. Okay, regarding, sir, any changes coming, what do? Because these are video lectures, afterwards any updates coming, what shall we do? I have a Telegram channel in the name of CA Niket Thakkar. Yeah, in your starting of lecture, you have that channel ka name, as well as you have a phone number of ours given to you. You can WhatsApp us your doubts. So be active. Whenever you have any doubts, please ask it to us. Second, subscribe to my Telegram channel so that any updates are coming, amendments are coming, we circulate over there. If suppose new exam came, there was a good question, I'll make a video, I'll put it on YouTube also, but I'll also put it on my Telegram channel. So please make sure you subscribe the Telegram channel for all updates and amendments. And now coming to our subject, we are required to start your Group 1 accounting. We are required to start Group 1 accounting, 100 marks. Now, before I go with the chapters and the index, I always tend to take basics of accounting. What you did something in foundation. Yeah, so your first lecture, approximately 3 hours, I'll give it only for basics of accounting. You already done it in foundation. It's kind of brushing up all the things. Plus, there are few students who might be from science background. After science 12th, they have joined CA, so there might be some science background student, and they might have bit of problem in accounts. So we always start from basic. So starting today with basics of accounting. Yeah, it's given in your book. The first thing which I have given is basics of accounting. Then your chapter starts. Okay, let's start basics of accounting. You can open your books. Lots of water keeps you fresh. Please make sure every lecture of 2 hours you have minimum 500 ml water. This will keep you fresh. Every 15-20 minutes, 1 sip of water. That's required, man. Okay, now accounting. First of all, this word accounting. See, every day individual or firms, they do lot of economic activity. Yeah, you do lots of economic activity. Think from business angle. Every day we sell goods, we purchase goods, we receive money, we pay salaries, we pay rent, we pay insurance. So many transactions come. Economic activities are done. Same way, think from individual. Imagine you are a salaried person, you'll earn salary, you'll spend on your house rent, you may spend on your house EMI, you may spend on your daily stuff, you may spend on telephone, you may spend on shopping. That are all economic activities. They're all economic activities. And your economic activities are performed through transactions and event. Yeah, these 2 words, transactions and event. You had it in the first chapter of accounting in your CA foundation. Transactions and event. Any act which you do, any act. Okay, I sold goods. Okay, I purchased goods. Okay, I paid money. Okay, I received money. That all is a transaction. Any act. What do you mean by the word transaction? It's performance of an act. Any act which you do, it's a transaction. I do something, that's a transaction. Sold goods, purchased goods, paid rent, received money, paid salaries, paid insurance, whatever. That's your transaction. So, sir, what is an event? Event is nothing but a result of transaction. It's a result of the transaction. Okay, I purchased goods, I sold goods, I purchased goods, I sold goods. Last May I have a stock with me. Some goods lying unsold. I purchase, sell, they are transaction. Some goods remain with you. That's an event. Okay, you run the business. You run the business, you have incomes, you have expenses. Last May there's a profit or loss. That profit or loss is a event. The transactions are any act which you do. Event is nothing but a result of your transaction. It is a happening as a consequence of transaction. That is your result. Okay. Now, sir, what is accounting? Accounting is nothing but we record these transactions and events. So whatever transactions business have done, whatever are the events, stock lying with you, so we record the transactions and events so that the users of accounts are able to take a rational decision, good decision. So what is accounting? Simple words may, it is recording transactions and event and presenting suitable information that will aid. Aid means help. What do you mean by the word aid? Help. Aid is help. That will help in decision making. So we have lots of transactions. Because of transaction, there might be some events. We record that transactions and events, and we provide a meaningful information which helps the people in decision making. This is a normal definition that refers to recording transactions and event. You need to understand the word transaction, the word event. I purchase goods, I sell goods, I pay money, I receive money. They're all transaction. Okay, I purchased goods, I sold goods. Some goods remained with me. Stock, that's an event. Okay, I did a business. I had income, expense. Now there's a profit. That's an event. Okay. So recording of transactions and event, presenting them in a suitable manner to help the decision making process. Okay, now this is normal definition. Going by the proper definition given. Accounting is what? It's art of recording, classifying, summarizing transactions and event. You record, classify, summarize in significant manner in terms of money. That's fine. What do I record, classify, summarize? Transactions and event, and interpret the result thereof. But this all should be financial nature. Non-financial things does not come in accounts. Okay, I have a very honest employees. Good, bad. I have a very honest employees. Good, bad. Sir, good. But वो honesty का value क्या है? What is the value of that honesty? Can I find out the value of that honesty? No. So I can't put it in my accounts. How much honest my employees are. I can't put that honesty of employees in my accounts. No. Accounts is always for financial transaction. Something which can be measured in terms of money. So accounting is art of first recording. Okay, we record everything. I sold goods today, I'll record. Okay, I purchased goods, I'll record. I paid money, I'll record. Okay, I received money, I'll record. Again I sold, record. Again purchase, record. Go on recording. Then classify. Similar transactions, bring it together. Okay, so in a year, you paid salary so many times. Every month end you paid salary. Okay, the April end there was a salary. May end there was a salary. June end there was a salary. July end there was a salary. So on every month. Bring all salary ke transactions together. Classifying them is bringing them together. And then you summarize your accounts. Okay, you had sales, you had purchase, you had income, you had expense. Now, for the year we are having this much profit or loss. So find profit or loss. Find what are your assets today, liabilities today. Assets are something which will give you benefits in future. What's an asset? Asset is something which gives you benefit in future. Liability is something which you are required to pay in future. So liability is an obligation. Liability is an obligation which I have to pay in future. Asset is a resource. asset is a resource which will give you benefit in future. So what are my assets today? What are my liabilities today? So I prepare kind of that summary showing all my assets and liabilities. I prepare a summary which shows my profit or loss for the year. That's summarizing. Okay, so first I record everything I'll record. Everything I'll record date by date. Now similar transactions I bring together. That's classifying. And then I'll prepare my accounts in a summarized manner, which will show me my profit or loss, which will show me my assets and liabilities. That is summarizing. What? Transactions and event, and then interpreting the results thereof. Okay, we'll come to it in detail. Recording, classifying, summarizing, I'll come to it in detail. Okay, the what's accounting? What is accounting? It is an art of recording, record everything, bring similar transactions together, that's classifying, and then you summarize your accounts. Summarizing in a significant manner in terms of money. What do we summarize? Transactions and events which are at least of financial character. I told you it has to be financial character. Honesty of employees I can't record. And then you interpret the results thereof. So after recording, classifying, summarizing, then you try to interpret the result. Last time profit this. Oh, this time profit this. Profits have increased. Oh, last time sales this. This time sales is this. Oh, sales have increased. Oh, cost compared to sales have gone down. You try to interpret the results. Okay, so this is the definition of the word accounting. Now, accounting procedure is classified in two parts. Accounting procedure, not process of accounting. Accounting procedure is divided in two parts. One, generating financial information, using financial information. One, you generate the financial information. Financial information you generate, or record, classify, summarize, that's generating. And then you use it. Okay, the important is generating. In accounts we learn generating. Using is at a later stage. How to use the financials, wo sara later stage hai. First, how to prepare the financials, how to have books of accounts, how to generate financial information. The generating financial information starts with recording, classifying, summarizing. Then you interpret, analyze, and you communicate. And then the users will use it. Okay, I repeat. You record, similar transaction you bring together, classify. Okay, you prepare a summary, analyze it, interpret it, communicate to your users, and then users will use it in taking decisions. Okay, the first it starts with how do I generate the financial information? How do I generate? First start with recording. First starts with recording. Okay, just imagine you go to Big Bazaar, you buy some goods. You go to Big Bazaar, you buy some goods. For you it's a purchase, for Big Bazaar it's a sales. Okay, do they give you any invoice? You buy goods from Big Bazaar, for you it's a purchase, for them it's a sales. Do they give you any invoice? Yeah. Okay, तो सर एक invoice आता है. So whenever they are selling, they prepare an invoice. Based on invoice, entry for sales is done. So we have some documents. For you purchase bill hai, for them sales bill. So we have purchase bill, we have sales bill, we have expenses ke bills. Okay, bank transaction. Imagine bank has given you interest. Bank has given you interest. You can find it from bank statement or from the passbook. Bank has given you interest. Aapke account mein it is credited. Sir, how do I understand? From bank statement or from passbook, you are able to understand, oh, haan, they've given me interest. So there are some source documents. Bills, passbook, bank statement, they are all kind of source document. From there the recording starts. First phase. So purchase kaise pata chala? Oh, there is a purchase bill. Oh, you spend on this expense. How did you come to know? Oh, there is a bill of it. So from the source document, recording starts. Recording is done in a journal. Journal is the first step. We have a journal entry. How to do it? I'll come to it. The first step in accounting is recording. You record in journal entry, or sometimes we also have subsidiary books. What is subsidiary books? We'll learn later. So first, it is from some documents. The business transactions are evidenced by some documents based on which they are recorded in books of account. Recording is done in a book called as journal. We have entries passed for every purchase, every sale, every payment, every receipt, every expenses. So we first have the recording done date-wise. It is chronologically. It is which way? Chronologically. Chronologically means date-wise. So recording is done chronologically, date-wise. Full year, okay, 1st April, 2nd April, 3rd April, 4th April, 5th April. I'll record till 31st March tak. I have a book called as journal, where I have the journal entries done. And there's one more option, subsidiary books. We'll come to it later. The first step in accounting is recording. Second, you classify. Now, I paid salary on 30th April. Oh, then I paid again on 31st May. Oh, then I paid again on 30th June. All salary transactions, I bring it together. All salary transactions, I bring it together to find out what's the total salary for the year. Okay, all transaction, I sold goods to A, he paid some money, again sold to A, again paid some money, again sold to A, again he has paid some money. I put all transactions of Mr. A together so that I understand how much is sales done to A, how much is money received, how much is pending. So this is classifying. Classifying is nothing but it is concerned with systematic analysis of recorded transaction with a view to group transactions or entries of one nature. Similar transactions, we put it together. All salaries together, all Mr. A transactions together. And this is done by a book called as a ledger. Okay, this is a book called as a ledger. So initially recording is done in journals, then classifying is done in ledgers. Then we go to summarizing. Yeah, there are many of you who might be very well aware of all these things. You can skip this. This lecture, first one, is only for basics. 3 hours, helping you understand your basics. If you are clear with basics, you can start directly with the chapter 1 which has been started. So you can directly start with the chapters. Okay, summarizing. Summarizing is, imagine, you have hundreds of transactions daily. Hundreds of transactions daily. So you have so many entries in your journal, so many ledgers. It's huge. It's not one book. You may have books of journal. 10 books of journal, 5 books of ledger. Okay, if someone wants to see your accounts, oh, give them that 15 books. Yeah, it's not convenient. I have to summarize it. So I summarize my accounts. In one pages. I prepare trial balance, trading account, P&L account, balance sheet, cash flow statement. So these are all one page. Trial balance, we have P&L account 1 page, balance sheet 1 page, cash flow statement 1 page. P&L account will show your profit or loss. P&L account shows your profit or loss. It shows profit or loss for the year. Okay, for the year, how much profit you earned, what is your loss. We have a P&L account. We'll come to it in detail. Balance sheet shows your assets and liabilities. Shows assets and liabilities as at given date. It is as at a given date. Assets and liabilities keep on changing. Okay, I have to receive from A. I have to receive from A. Okay, I have to receive from someone. It will give me benefits in future. Asset. I have to receive from Mr. A 1,000 rupee. Tomorrow he gives me 400. I have to receive from A 1,000. Tomorrow he gives me 400. Now I have to receive 600. Asset keeps on changing. So it shows assets and liabilities as at given date. And cash flow statement shows your movement in cash and cash equivalent. It shows your movement in cash and cash equivalent for the year. So it explains the movement of cash and cash equivalent for the year. During the year, your cash went up, cash went down. You started with cash 1 lakh. Today it became 150. You started with 1 lakh. At the end of the year it became 150. Why cash went up? Why cash went down? Cash flow statement explains the movement in cash and cash equivalent for the year. So trial balance, it's a summary of all accounts. It's a summary of all accounts. It shows balances of all accounts. Shows balances of all accounts. I have purchase account, sales account, expense account, salary, rent, all accounts. Unka summary is trial balance. Shows balances of all accounts. I prepare so many accounts. Salary, all transactions together, salary account. Rent, all transactions together, rent account. Okay, Mr. A, all transactions together, Mr. A's account. What sub accounts ka summary is coming in trial balance. Okay, so your books are 10, 15 books. Accounts was in 10, 15, 20 books. Yeah, someone asked, I can't give 20 books to them. I summarize it. After summarizing, analyze. After summarizing, you analyze, you do some ratio analysis. Okay, cost is this much percentage of sales. Sales is say 1 lakh, cost is coming 80,000. Oh, so I can understand cost is 80% of my sales. Okay, salary is this much percent of my sales. Try to do some analysis. Based on analysis, you interpret how is the situation. Based on analysis, you interpret how is the situation. Company doing well, not well, what? And then you communicate the summarized information. What do you communicate? Summarized. I can't communicate the 10, 10, 15, 15 books. Only we communicate summarized, analyzed and interpreted information. We communicate summarized, analyzed and interpreted information to the end users so that they are able to take rational decisions. Okay, the accounting is the art of recording, classifying, summarizing what? Transactions and events which are of financial nature and then interpreting the results thereof. So first step, recording. It is done in journal. We have a journal entries. Yeah, most important. How to do journal entry we'll learn. In this class we'll learn how to do journal entry. Yeah, that's the biggest problem. Many of you mug up the things. We'll understand how journal entries are done. Second step is we classify similar transactions together. We prepare account for each and everything. All salary transaction, salary account. Okay, all Mr. A transaction, Mr. A account. So we prepare ledgers. Then we summarize all ledgers ke balances, we put it in trial balance. From there we prepare P&L, balance sheet, cash flow. P&L will show me profits loss for the period. Your balance sheet will show you assets and liabilities as at a given date. Cash flow statement will explain the movement of cash and cash equivalent during the period. Yeah, it can be year, it can be period, anything. You prepare for full year, it's a year. If you prepare for 3 months, it's a period. Depends on that. After summarizing, you analyze. After analyzing, you interpret, and then you communicate to the users. What do I communicate? Summarized, analyzed, and interpreted results are communicated, so that they're able to take better decisions. Okay, now this is done. Objectives of financials. Objectives of accounting. What is the objective of accounting? One, you have a systematic recording of transaction. You are able to ascertain the result. Result is profit or loss. Result is profit or loss. You are able to understand, oh, how much I earned, how much I lost this year. Ascertainment of financial position. Financial position is assets and liabilities. Financial position is assets and liabilities. Okay, the result we understand from P&L. Result we understand from P&L. Financial position we understand from balance sheet. Financial position we understand from balance sheet. It will give information to users for rational decision making. Rational means good. Rational means good informed decision. Good or informed decision making. They know the situation. They know the situation, then they are taking the decision. I know how is this company doing. I see their balance sheet, P&L. Balance sheet shows me their assets and liability, what all they have to receive, what all they have to pay. My assets, my liabilities. P&L account shows my income and expenses, profits and losses. So you see all this, then you decide whether you should invest in this company or not. Whether I should invest in this company or not. And lastly, to know the solvency position. Oh, whether company is fine. Are there troubles in company? Whether company can become insolvent? If I feel liabilities are more, assets are basically pretty less, they have some losses in books. They have losses in books, they don't have assets in books, they have losses, liabilities are more. So understand the solvency position. Okay, these are some objectives given. These all things are extract from your CA foundation book. This all things are extract from CA foundation book. Before we start your CA intermediate, I want your basics to be clear. That's why I'm taking it. Okay, users of accounting information. Okay, remember steps was recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing. Interpret it, then you communicate. I communicate to whom? Who are the users? Okay, I communicate the financial information. Who are the users? It can be internal users, external users. The users of accounting information, internal or external? Sir, why internal? Yeah, just tell me one thing. How are your different products doing? You prepared accounts and suppose you have sales product wise. That is helpful to sales manager to understand which product to promote. Same way your directors will be able to understand which product is going fine, which product is not going fine. They also see the accounts. The internal management or the owners, they also see accounts. Oh, my business is doing well, not doing well. Internal. External, outsiders like investors, your customers, your lenders, your creditors, government. They all are interested in your accounts. Sir, investors, he will see accounts and decide whether I should invest or not. Your employees, they will see how company is doing. If I realize my company is not doing well, I'll start searching for new job. If I realize my company is not doing well, I'll start searching for new job. Lenders, okay, if they realize company is not doing well, they might tell, okay, we sell your assets and we recover money. They also, lenders wants to know how you're doing. Your creditors, the one who supplies goods to you. Okay, who is a creditor? One who supplies goods to you on credit. Okay, so if I buy goods on credit. On credit means I buy today, I have to pay in future. So if you buy goods from someone, that guy is a creditor. You have to pay money to him. You bought goods from him, you have to pay money to him. Now your creditor sees your accounts. If he sees that you're not doing well, he will tell me, bring cash, then only I'll give you goods. Bring cash, then only I'll give you goods. Customers are also interested. Sir, why? Customer ko kya hai? They will see your accounts. If they understand you're not doing well, your customer understands you are not doing well, you might not be able to supply goods on timely basis, they will find out another supplier. For your customer, you are a supplier. If I am in trouble, I may not deliver goods timely. So they may try to find a new supplier. Government needs your accounts. Why? Government needs your accounts. Why? To understand how much tax should be collected from you. To understand how much tax should be collected from you. The various users are there. Various users are there. Fine. That's okay. Concepts in accounting, this is important. I hope you all know this all concepts. I hope you are all knowing all the concepts which are given. Now, it might look bit of theoretical, but yes, it's required. It might look bit theoretical, but frankly, it's required. Before we move on to enter, these basics are required. Okay, first, entity concept. Now, entity concept says business is different from the owners. Owners are separate, business is separate. Entity concept. What does it say? Business is a separate entity from its owners. So imagine owner brought money. Mera hi paisa hai na? It's my money only. Do I need to do accounting? Owner brought money. Do I need to do accounting? Or owner took away money. Do I need to do accounting? Yes. Owner is different, business is different. Owner is different, business is different. If owner brings money, you record as his capital, which you have to pay it back. Whenever company or whenever your business is shut down, you have to pay back that money. So whenever owner brings money, it's my money only. Do I need to record? Yes. Owner is different, business is different. The owner brings money, you record as capital. Owner takes away money, you record as drawings. So we record that. So because of this, we have capital, we have drawings. Because of this, we have the capital, we have drawings. If owner brings money, capital. Owner takes away money, drawings. Business separate, owner separate. Second, money measurement concept. Only those transactions and events which are measured in terms of money, only those things which are measured in terms of money are recorded. So only those transactions which can be measured in terms of money are recorded. Employees' honesty. Employees honest, very good. It will give you benefits in future. Your employees are honest, you will have a good benefits in future. Your company will do well. But how much is the price of the honesty? What is the value of that honesty? I can't put it. I can't record. It's the biggest asset. Employees honest, it's the biggest asset, but we don't record it. Employees honest is the biggest asset, but we don't record because I can't measure it in terms of money. Third, going concern concept. Going concern concept. So many concepts are there. Just theoretically you should know it. Some or the other place application will come. And now you are doing it that way, but you don't know because of this concept. You're doing it that way, 11, 12, foundation, you're mugged up. But you don't know because of this concept, it's like this. Okay, going concern concept means that business is going to continue. The business is a going concern. It has neither the need nor the necessity. It's neither the need nor the intention. It has neither the need nor the intention to liquidate the business. You don't have a need to liquidate. You're doing very well. You don't have a need to liquidate the business, or there's no intention. See, I tell you, this business is running well. this business is running well, but now I feel I want to shift abroad. This business is running well, but now I feel I want to shift abroad. I'll shut down this business. There's no need. There is an intention. And this business is running well, so there's no need to shut down. But my intention is to do something else. I want to go abroad. So this is an intention. There is neither a need nor an intention to liquidate your business or curtail down materially the scale of business. There's neither a need nor an intention to liquidate, shut down or curtail down materially. मुझे business बहुत कम कर देना है. Materially curtail down your business. So going concern concept says there's no such need, there's no such intention. Business is going to continue. If business is not going to continue, accounting is done in a different way. So normally we assume business is a going concern. And that's why, just imagine, you bought a fixed asset. Fixed asset is something which will give you benefit for more than 1 year. Like air condition. I have this air condition over here. I bought an air condition. This air condition will give me benefit for say 5 years. The air condition is giving me benefit for 5 years. It will be taken in expense over a period of 5 years. The air condition is bought. I think it will give me a benefit for 5 years. I'll take it in expense over 5 years. So see, I am taking depreciation on this air condition. Depreciation means an expense. So I'm taking it as an expense over a period of 5 years life of AC. Okay, I don't think about whether my business will be there for 5 years or not. The fixed assets are depreciated over their useful life, ignoring the life of business. Fixed assets are depreciated over their useful life, ignoring the life of business. We don't think business will be there for 5 years or not because of going concern concept. We feel business will be there. The assets are depreciated over their life, ignoring life of the business due to conservatism concept. Okay. So financial statements are normally prepared on the assumption that entity is going concern. What is going concern? Neither the intention nor the necessity to liquidate. If such an intention does not exist, if such intention or need exists, we will shut down. So फिर the financials have to be prepared on a different basis. Then I'll prepare everything differently. Then I can't depreciate fixed asset over their life. Yeah, okay, uska life is 5 years. Business will not be there for 5 years. So I can't depreciate them over their life. Accounting will be done on a different basis. We call it as liquidation basis. We call it as liquidation basis, wherein we show everything at NRV. Net realizable value. We don't depreciate asset. Okay, I bought a air condition 50,000. Benefit will be for 5 years. Out of 50, first year I used, expense 10. 40 I'll get in future. Okay, 50 mein se 10 went to PNL now. 40 I'll get benefit in future. It's my asset. Again, I use 1 year. Again, 10 is expense. 30 I'll get benefit in future. It's an asset. So that is the way we are doing it because of going concern. You depreciate over assets over their life, ignoring life of business due to going concern. Next, periodicity concept. Okay, just now we understood business will continue for a long period. Business will continue. It's a going concern. Business will be there for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Okay, so should you prepare or should you find out your profit at the end of that 10 years or 15 years or 20 years? So should I prepare or find out my profit directly at end? No. To have a better decision making, prepare your P&L balance sheet, which shows your profit loss, which shows your assets liability on a regular interval. Business will continue for 10 years, but I should not prepare my P&L balance sheet after 10 years. Prepare them every year. Do you know how the business is doing? Where it is going? Based on that, you can take decisions. The going concern concept says business will be for lifetime, but periodicity concept says Your account should be prepared after every period, not at the end of the life of entity. You prepare accounts on a periodic basis, and generally we follow every year, March ending. Usually this period is 1 calendar year. Generally we follow 1st April to 31st March. If you go abroad, US, they follow calendar year, Jan to December. India mein we have April to March. India we have April to March. That's periodicity concept. So prepare your financials periodically. Your accounts ka summary you prepare periodically, not at the end of life. Purpose of accounting is to have a better decision making. To have a better decision making, prepare accounts periodically. Next, accrual concept. Now, what is accrual concept? Accrual concept. Now, just tell me one thing. I sold goods to you today. You will pay me after 1 month. We have agreed. I am selling you goods today. You will pay me after 1 month. Should I record sales today or should I record it after 1 month? I sold goods today. You will pay me after 1 month. So should I record sales today or should I record when I receive money? Okay, if you record when you receive money only, like when I receive money, I record. When I pay money, I record. That's called cash system of accounting. You record when you receive, you record when you pay. That's cash system. Accounts mein we don't follow cash system, we follow accrual basis. Transactions are recorded as and when it occurs. Transactions are recorded as and when they occur. The effect of transactions and events are recognized when they occur. Did I sell you goods today? Yeah. To record sales today. I will have a receivable from you. I'll record sale today. I'll have a receivable from you. I'll receive in future. When I receive, again one more entry. So transactions are recorded as and when they occur, not necessarily cash paid or cash received. Okay, so revenues may not be realized in cash. I sold you. You might not have paid in cash. Sometimes you might have paid early also, advance. So cash may be received simultaneously. I sell, you pay. Or before the revenue is created, advance. Before the revenue is created, that is advance. You gave money in advance, then I gave you goods. You gave me advance, after 5 days I am giving you goods. Or I sold you goods, you will pay later, after the revenue is created. After the revenue is created. Same way expense. I might not pay in cash. It may be paid simultaneously. Cash may be paid simultaneously, or before expense is made, I might have given advance. Or I buy goods from you today, I have to pay in future. After the expense is made, I have to pay in future. Today I bought goods, I'll pay in future. Now, this is, we have written A1, A2, B1, B2. Let's understand. If you receive money before the revenue is created, you got advance. I got money in advance, it's my liability. Why it's a liability? You're obliged to give goods. You got money, you have to give goods to someone in future. आपको पैसा मिल गया, you got money, you have to give goods to someone in future. So A1 creates liability. So when you get cash, you have a liability to give goods in future. Okay, A2. You sold goods, you will get money later. You sold goods, you'll get money later. I sold goods, I'll get money. I have to receive from you. It creates an asset. A2 creates an asset called as trade receivable. I have to receive money from you. I have to receive money from you. Okay. B1. Expenses I have paid before the expense. I gave you advance. I gave you advance. I have given you advance. It's my asset. I will get goods in future. I will receive goods in future. I'll get some benefit in future. So if you pay in advance, it's an asset. B1 creates an asset. You pay in advance. Okay, you pay late. Okay, you got the goods. You got the goods. You have to pay in future. Okay, you have to pay in future. I have an obligation to pay in future. This is liability. Okay, so if you receive in advance, it's a liability. You have to give goods to them. You are liable to give goods. Okay, if you will receive late, it's an asset. You will receive in future. Okay, if you pay in advance, it's an asset. You will get goods in future. Okay, if you are going to pay late, it's a liability. Okay, so this is basically, I sold goods today, I'll record today. No need to wait till the money is received. I record the goods today. Okay, I paid advance, I'll record. Goods may come in future. Okay, I sold goods today, money will come in future, still I'll record today. Transactions are recorded as in when they occur. Okay, sale happened today, record today. Don't wait till the money is received or paid. Okay, now they've just given a definition of asset. Asset is what? Asset is a resource controlled by an enterprise. It's a resource. Asset is a resource. Okay, AC. This is mine, huh? Controlled by me. I want to switch it off, I can switch it off. I want to switch it on, I can switch it on. I want to increase temperature, I can do it. It's a resource controlled by an enterprise. Arising from past event. Past may I bought it. Past may I bought it. And it will give you future economic benefit. Asset is something which will give you future economic benefit in future. So they will give you future economic benefit. Thandi hawa de raha hai na. It gives me cool air. Not for 1 year, for 5 years it will give me. So air condition, it's a resource controlled by an enterprise, controlled by me. It arising out of past event. Past may I bought it. That's why I have it today. Okay, past may you sold goods. That's why you are receivable today. Past may you sold goods, that's why you're receivable today. And which will give you future economic benefit. Future may some economic benefit. Imagine if this AC is not there, students might not sit in class. If the AC is not there, I might not be able to take lectures properly in the studio. So it gives me future economic benefit. Okay, liability is an obligation. So it's an obligation. Again arising out of past event. I bought goods from you in past. I bought some goods from you in past. That's why I have a payable to you. That's why I have a payable. It's an obligation. Again arising out of past event. The settlement of which is expected to result in outflow of economic benefits. I have to pay you. There will be an outflow of economic benefit. So asset is something which gives you benefits in future, your future probable benefit, future economic benefits. Liability is something which will require outflow of economic benefits. Liability is something which will have outflow of economic benefits. Next concept, the accrual concept says record transaction as and when it occurs, not when cash is paid or cash is received. You sold goods today, record today. Money may come in future. So your debtors, creditors. Debtors is from someone I have to receive money. Creditor is someone I have to pay money. Debtors, creditors came because of accrual concept. Next, matching concept. Matching. Matching concept. Your expenses and incomes are matched. So if revenue is in this year, related expense should come in this year. Revenue is in this year, related expense should come in this year. The only related expense. So all expenses are matched with revenue. all expenses are matched with revenue of that period. Now, many of you know there's a concept of closing stock. Yeah, you might have seen we put the closing stock in credit side of trading account. Yeah, you all have seen that we put the closing stock on credit side of trading account due to matching concept. Yeah, due to matching concept. Reason that goods are not yet sold. Closing stock is not yet sold. Okay, when you purchase, it's an expense. When you purchase, it's an expense. It's on the debit side of trading account. That goods not yet sold. It will be sold in future. So that cost should be removed from this year. It should go to next year. So in your purchases, you have in your trading account. In your trading account, you have a purchases. Out of that, some goods not yet sold. Okay, so uska benefit will come in future. They are not sold. They will be sold in future. So the benefit, the cost also should come in future. We have sold 80 units. Purchase is 100. 180 sold in this. So revenue 80 ka, expense should also be of 80. All expenses are matched with revenue of that period. 20 will be coming in next year. The expense of 20 also, we remove it. We take it in next year. So we have a concept of closing stock coming on credit side of trading account. Your closing stock comes on credit side of trading account due to matching concept. That goods are not yet sold. It's not there in revenue. Revenue mate will come in next year. Cost also remove from purchase. Purchase on debit side. I put closing stock on credit side. It's removed from purchases. And that will come as expense in next year. Okay, next. Cost concept. Cost concept. Okay. I bought this air condition at 50,000. I bought this air condition at 50,000. So in my books, I record at my cost. If I want to sell today, I might not get 50. I'll get a lesser amount. उसको बोलते net realizable value. उसको बोलते which value? Net realizable. If I want to sell this old one today, उसका value is different. Same way, if to buy a new one today is of 60. I am not concerned with what is new one today. I am not concerned with this old one. If you want to sell, what value will get? Do you want to sell? First question. Do you want to sell? No, you want to use, na? So why are you concerned with what you will get if you will sell? What's the price of new one today? You record at your cost. You bought at 50. In your books, it is coming at 50. You use 1 year, 10,000 goes to PNL. Again you use 1 year, 10,000 goes to PNL. Again you use 1 year, 10,000 expense. So today we have an asset 50 which will give me benefit for 5 years. 10,000 I'll remove as and when I use. But in my books it appears at my cost less depreciation. What is the price of new one today? I'm not concerned. What I'll get by selling this old one? I'm not concerned because my purpose is not selling. My purpose is using. Okay, so values of asset are determined based on their cost. If you buy a machine for 5 lakh, it will come at 5 lakh in your book. Although there are other measurement bases. Okay, old one today will fetch how much? Usko bolte net realizable value. Okay, new one today is of how much? Usko bolte current cost concept. I don't follow that. We follow historical cost. What rate you bought? The accountants traditionally prefer this concept because it is free from objectivity. Objectivity is biasness. Free from biasedness. You're not biased. I paid this. So there's no kind of judgment, etc. It's very objective. I paid, sir, bill hai. Check the bill. Bill is of 5 lakh. Today value kitna aayega if I sell today old one? Values might differ. Someone will say, sir, 20,000. Someone will say 25. So wo values will differ. But paid 50, recorded 50. Then you give depreciation. Okay, so this is historical cost concept. Other bases are there, net realizable value, current cost concept, but that all we generally don't use. Next, dual aspect concept. Dual aspect concept. In your accounts, we have a double entry system. Italian mathematician Luca Pacioli has developed this dual double entry system. Every transaction will have two effects, one debit, one credit effect. Every transaction will have a two effect, one debit effect, one credit effect. Sir, how do we identify? I'll come to it. So every transaction has two effect, debit effect, credit effect. And because of double entry system, your capital plus liability is equal to asset. Capital plus liability is equal to asset. Every transaction has two effect, one debit, one credit. And because of this concept, capital, owner brought money, that's capital. Liability which I have to pay, owner also I have to pay, but when we liquidate the company or when we wound up the business, so capital is also liability, but payable only when business shuts down. So capital plus liability should be equal to asset. How this will happen? We'll come to it. Next, conservatism concept. Your conservatism concept. I tell you, many concepts you are following, but you don't know, oh, it was because of this. Like assets are depreciated over their life. We don't think of business ka life due to going concern. You do it, but you don't know why. Conservatism. Future probable losses. Probability is more than 50%. Future probable losses we record, but we don't record future probable income. Accountant should not anticipate income, but should provide for future probable losses. Future probable losses we record now only. Future probable incomes we don't record. Yeah, Indians are conservative. We are very conservative people. So if losses aane wale, we keep in mind. Profits aane wala hai, no, don't take it. Simple. I have some goods with me. I bought at 100 rupee. You have goods with you. You bought at 100. Now pay attention. You bought it at 100 rupee. Now market price has gone up. It is now 120. I bought at 100. I know pakka I'll be able to sell at 120. Have you sold it? No. You have a goods with you. You know 100 rupee pakka you'll be able to sell at 120. So 20 rupee profit will come in future. Don't record today. Pakka you are sure you'll get 120 in future. Don't record today unless you sell it. But you bought goods at 100. Markets have gone down. Oh, COVID-19. The markets have gone down. I know 100 wala goods I'll not be able to get more than 80. 100 rupee goods, I know I won't be able to get more than 80. Have you sold it yet? No. Still book a loss of 20 now only. Don't show stock at 100. Show it at 80 only. Now you know we value the stock at cost or NRV, whichever is lower. Cost 100, net realizable value, I'll realize 80, whichever is lower. We value the stock at cost or NRV, whichever is lower. This is as per conservatism concept. So conservatism concept says future probable losses you record now only. Future probable incomes you ignore it. Pakka you are sure you will get profits in future. Don't record today. Let the profit happen. But I know my losses will come. High probability. Record it right now. Okay, this is conservatism. Consistency. Accounts should be prepared consistently following the same policies every time. You can't have different accounting policies followed every time. It has to be same way. So to achieve comparability, To achieve comparability, the accounting policies should be followed consistently. The accounting policy should be followed consistently from one period to another. Change is allowed only in 3 cases. Now, sir, what is this accounting policy? Now tell me, I have some goods with me, stock. I have some stock with me. Now imagine I am selling Parle-G biscuits. I am selling Parle-G biscuits. Now, if I buy at 4 rupee, generally I sell at 5 rupee. I'll buy at 4 rupee, I'll generally sell at 5 rupee, Parle-G biscuits. You know it, na? Okay, now if I buy in bulk, they give me discount. The 4 ki jagah 3.9 also can be there. 4 ki jagah 3.9 also can be there. Okay, then imagine first I bought, say for example, 500 units at 4 rupee. Then I bought 1000 units at 3.9 rupee. Okay, I bought 500 units of Parle-G biscuit 4 rupee. 1000 units I bought 3.9. Now 1500, 500 and 1000, 1500. Out of 1500, 1200 are sold. Now 1200 are, leave chalo 12, 800 are sold. 800 are sold. Now sir, which one are sold? First 500 are sold. Out of next one 300 sold. So sir, you bought 500, then you bought 1000. Okay, so first 500 gone and second mein se 300 gone. This is called FIFO. First in, first out. So you are telling my first 500 of 4 rupee wale, they are already sold. Then I purchased 1000 of at 3.9. Usme se 300 gone. So sir, now 700 remains out of the second purchase. The 700 remains out of the second purchase. Someone says, sir, no, everything was mixed up. And usme se sale happened. I don't know which one sold first. So either FIFO or weighted average. So my stock remaining, should I say they are all of 3.9 or should I say they are of 3.9 also, they are of 4 also, mixed up? So there are different options. How do I find my cost? FIFO, weighted average, they are your policy. You have to decide. They are your accounting policy. You decide based on your business. Based on your business. You go to a milkman. You go to a Amul parlor. They will basically give you milk first, which is the older one. Pakka. They will just ensure yesterday's milk should be finished first. So they always have first in, first out. So some businesses have first in, first out. Some businesses may reality may they are mixed. Like Parle-G biscuit, validity is 1 year. You bought it 5 days back and again you bought it today. You might have mixed it. So some businesses may really it's FIFO. Wo milk wala, Amul parlor, they will not basically give the latest. They will try to ensure yesterday's stock should be finished. First in, first out. Expire na ho jaye. But wo Parle-G biscuit you bought 5 days ago and you buy today, it all will be mixed up. Life is 1 year. So see your business, then decide your policy. FIFO, weighted average, whatever policy you follow should be followed uniformly. Change is allowed only in 3 cases. You will learn in AS1. You learn in AS1, it's fine. Materiality. Oh, we saw so many concepts. Leave it. Forget it. Leave the concepts. Don't follow the concepts if effect is immaterial. If it doesn't influence the decisions. When do I say it's material? If it influences the decisions of users of financial statement. If decisions are affected, no, then you have to follow the concepts. Immaterial item, leave it. For simple example, imagine I take lectures and for writing on board, I need a marker pen. Okay, for writing on board, this is not a marker pen, but I need a marker pen. I have a ink for marker pen purchased, 10 bottles. I have a ink for marker pen purchased, 10 bottles. Out of 10 bottles, 8 bottles are used up in this year, 2 bottles not yet used. 2 bottles not yet used. Uska benefit I'll get in future. Okay, 2 bottles I have not used, I will get the benefit in future. So as per your matching concept, 8 bottles you're used up, you got the benefit. 2 bottles you're not used, benefit will come in future. The 2 bottle ka expense, you remove it, show it as an asset. 2 bottles, I got 10 bottles of ink, 25 rupee per bottle. Oh, 25 into 10, sir, 250. 250 may say 2 bottle of 25. 50 rupee ki bottles are not used up, I'll get benefits in future. As per matching concept, remove that 50 rupee from your expense, show it as an asset. But we don't do it because that 50 rupee is immaterial. In a profit of 50 lakhs, wo 50 rupee here and there will not make any difference. So I don't follow matching concept. Stationery which is unused. Stationery which is unused, I don't show it as my asset. I show it in expense only because of materiality concept. The materiality concept says what? It permits other concepts to be ignored. It permits other concepts to be ignored if the effect is not considered material. If the effect is not considered material, when do I say it's material? When it influences the decisions of users of financial statement. Okay, let's move it. So these were all your concepts. Let us brush up again. Entity concept says owner is different, business is different. If owner brings money, record. Owner takes away money, record. Money measurement concept, only those things which are measured in terms of money are to be recorded. Other things don't record. Going concern, business is going to continue. Business is going to continue. It has neither the need nor the intention to liquidate the business. If there is a need, then accounts are prepared on a different basis. Next, periodicity concept. Okay, business will be for a long. You can't prepare accounts only at end. Prepare accounts periodically so that you are able to take better decisions. Practically, you prepare every year. Accrual concept. Transactions are recorded as and when they occur, not when cash is received or paid. Matching concept. You match your revenues and in expenses. The expenses are matched with revenue. If revenue is in this year, related expense should come in this year. If this year I sold 80 units, expense should only be of 80 units. Even though you purchase 100, 20 will show it as closing stock. 20 will show it as closing stock. Next, cost concept. Okay, we follow historical cost concept. Assets are recorded at the price at which they are purchased. There are other measurement bases, but generally they are not followed. Dual aspect concept. Every transaction have two aspects, one debit, one credit. Because of this, capital plus liability is equal to assets. Conservatism. Future probable losses we record now only. Future probable gains we don't record. So your stock is valued at cost or NRV, whichever is lower, due to conservatism. Accounting policy, FIFO, weighted average, they are to be followed uniformly. You don't change it. Change is allowed only under 3 cases. We'll learn in accounting standard 1. Materiality, you can leave all the concepts. Whatever concepts you see, forget it. Whatever concepts you see, forget it. You leave that concepts provided it is immaterial. Stationery which is unused, I don't show as an asset even though I'll get benefits in future. Unused stationery, I don't show it as an asset, but I put it in expense only because of materiality concept. Okay, out of all this concepts, 3, going concern, accrual and consistency, they are called fundamental accounting assumption. Going concern, consistency, accrual, they are fundamental accounting assumption. They are always assumed to have been followed. If nothing is written about fundamental accounting assumption, then it is assumed that they have been followed. So it is a going concern, it is accrual concept followed, transactions are recorded as and when they occur, and yes, consistently policies are followed. They are deemed to have been followed. If you are not following, it has to be specifically mentioned in your accounts. Okay, next, capital expense, revenue expenditure. Capital expenditure, revenue expenditure. It's kind of brushing up your foundation. Capital expenditure, revenue expenditure. I'll take this lecture in 2 parts, 1.5 hour, again 1.5 hour. I'll take it in 2 parts, 1.5 hour, 1.5 hour. Okay. Capital expenditure are those which will give you benefit for more than one accounting period. It's not only for this year, the benefit will be for more than 1 year. This air condition. This air condition gives me benefit for 5 years. That's capital expense. Revenue expenses are those which are only related to this year. I buy goods, I'll sell it. I buy goods, I'll sell it. Their benefit is not for more than 1 year. I bought some, basically, say for example, pens. I'm using it now only. So pens for writing on board, I bought it, I'll use it. Salary, okay, the employee will work for me now only. This month he will work, I'll pay salary. It's not for future years. So those things which give you benefit only in one accounting period, that's revenue expense. They are related to normal day-to-day operations. But those things which give you benefit for a longer term, that's a capital expenditure. Capital expenditure appears as an asset in balance sheet. It will go to P&L slowly over its life. Revenue expenditure goes to P&L in the first year. Okay, the revenue expenditure will directly go to P&L. Capital expenditure gives you benefit for more than 1 year. I'll get benefits in future. It's my asset. It will also go to P&L over the life. The revenue expense goes immediately to P&L. Capital expenditure will appear as an asset. Slowly it will go to P&L over the life. Okay, the revenue expense relates to operations, and the benefit of which are not extended beyond the period. They are related to operations normal, and benefit is only for that period. Capital expenditure generates enduring benefit, and it helps in revenue generation of more than one accounting period. It's more than one accounting period. The distinction is your revenue expense will go to P&L, capital expense will go to balance sheet. From balance sheet, they will go to P&L over the life. So one goes to P&L immediately, capital expenditure, which will give me benefits for a longer run. They appear as an asset slowly and gradually. As we get benefit, it goes in P&L. Okay, accounting standards. Okay, accounting standards. You would have heard this word, accounting standards. Now I tell you one thing. Imagine I take this example. I'm just reading this example. You will understand why you need accounting standards. Why do we need accounting standards? They are norms which we have to follow for accounting. Why do we have accounting standards? Okay, first, I got an order on 1st January 20. I got an order on 1st January 20. Okay, someone wanted some goods. He placed an order. I manufactured the goods on 15 Jan. I dispatched on 20th Jan. He received it on 22nd Jan. He gave me money on 20th February. I got an order 1st Jan. I manufactured it 15th Jan. I dispatched on 20th Jan. He received it on 22nd Jan. He's paying money on 20th February. Question: when should I record sales? When should I record sales? Day when I get the order, day when I manufactured, day when I dispatched, day when he received, or day when he gives me money? When should I book sales? Now, if everybody follows their own norms, I record sales when I get order. Oh, I record sales when I dispatch. I record sales when other guy receives it. I record sales when I receive money. Everybody follows their own norms. Everybody will do accounting in their way. Accounts will never be comparable. Comparability comes when everybody follows same norms. Same norms everybody follow, then everybody will get a same answer. Then that's fine. So, sir, which day I should book sales? To overcome such situation and to ensure uniformity in accounting, we have accounting standards. Sir, which day you learn in AS9? Which day you should book sales? You learn in accounting standard 9. I'm not covering it. Answer, I'm not covering it. It will be learned in AS9. The point is, why do we need accounting standards? So to ensure uniformity, everybody does accounting in the same way. For that, we need accounting standards. So see, to ensure transparency, consistency, comparability, adequacy, reliability of financial reporting, it is essential to standardize accounting principles and policies. It is essential to standardize the accounting principles and policies. For this, we have accounting standards. Accounting standards are based on concepts. Concepts which we already did. वो concepts किया ना, वो concepts पे based on concepts, accounting standards are developed. Based on concepts, accounting standards are developed. Sir, who develops it? Our ICAI. Our ICAI develops the accounting standard based on concepts. Bases are that concepts. Based on that, we create some rules. Okay, so what are accounting standard? The definition. They are written policy documents. They are written policy documents issued by expert accounting body like ICAI or by government or by other regulatory body, covering aspects of recognition. First, whether you should record such a transaction, like honesty of employee. Should I record? So whether I should record or not. First, whether to record or not. Recognition is whether to record or not. Okay. If yes, you have to record, so comes at what value? You should whether to record or not, and if yes, on which date? If yes, on which date? Like above question, which date I should record sale? At what amount? At what amount you should record, and how you should present it in your P&L balance sheet. So whether to record or not, if yes, on which date? So when you should recognize it. Sales should be recorded on which day? Second, at what amount? What amount? Okay, sales के अंदर we charge separately for delivery expense. We charge separately for delivery. You might have seen Amazon, so you order something plus delivery charges. Should they include that delivery charges in sales? Or sometimes gift wrapped के charges, gift करना है extra 25 rupee. So should they include that 25 rupee in that sale of goods? What to do? Gift wrapper के charges, delivery charges. We'll learn later. But इसके लिए we have standards. तो इसके लिए we have standards. Standards tells you, they cover the aspect of recognition, whether to record or not. If yes, which date? At what amount? How to present and disclose it in balance sheet. So they are written policy document issued by expert accounting body, that's ICAI, or by government or by regulatory body, covering aspects of, they cover what? Recognition, when you should record, measurement, what value you should record, presentation disclosure of transactions and event in the financial statement. Of transactions and event in the financial statement. Okay, now objective is eliminate non-comparability, provide a set of standard accounting policies. Provide a set of standard accounting policy valuation norms. Everybody follows same things. Everybody follows same things. It will eliminate non-comparability. That's accounting standards. Now, this is India-wise. Internationally, we have international financial reporting standards. Internationally, they are UK-based. UK में they have international financial reporting standard. Now we wanted our accounts to be comparable world over. We wanted our accounts to be comparable world over, if you want your accounts to be comparable world over, follow the standards going on across the world. If you want your accounts to be comparable world over, you should follow standards across the world. So we came out with one more set of standards. The VO came out with one more set of standards which are based on international financial reporting standards, the standards which are prevalent worldwide. Okay, so Ind AS, or we call Indian Accounting Standard. So we have two sets of standard. We have two sets of standard. Accounting standard, Indian Accounting Standard. Second is Indian Accounting Standard, or we call it as Ind AS. We have Indian Accounting Standard, or we call it as Ind AS. They are International Financial Reporting Standard Converge Standards, means based on IFRS, which is prevalent in many countries. Originated in UK. It is UK based. I just write down UK based. IFRS is UK based, but if you see the word written, it's prevalent in many countries. We want our accounts to be comparable world over. Big companies at least. At least big companies who are multinational companies working here, abroad. I want accounts to be prepared world over similar. World over they have a similar account. They can compare their accounts world over. Then internationally we have IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards. Based on that, we came out with Ind AS, which are replica of it, a bit modified. Indian scenario, we modified bit. So what are Indian Accounting Standard? Ind AS are IFRS based or IFRS converged standard issued by ICAI or issued by central government under the control of ICAI. ASB, Accounting Standard Board, is under ICAI. So under the supervision control of Accounting Standard Board of ICAI and in consultation with NAFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority. It's a government body. Okay. So central government CG has issued Indian Accounting Standards which are based on IFRS. The standards which are going on worldwide. Many countries are following it. Why did we came out? Because we want our accounts to be comparable world over. The central government has issued Ind AS which are based on IFRS, and this is in support. Who has basically came out with this? ASB, Accounting Standard Board of ICAI. They supported, and it has been in consultation with NAFRA. NAFRA is a government body. Okay, and Ind AS doesn't apply to all companies. They apply to companies having a net worth. Companies. They are not applicable to sole proprietorship, partnership. Ind AS doesn't apply to sole proprietorship, partnership, only to the companies having a net worth of 250 crores or more. Net worth. Asset minus liability is net worth, not turnover. Net worth is asset minus liabilities in simple words. So asset minus liability, not the capital. Leave owner's capital, wo nahi lena. Asset minus outside liabilities. If it is 250 crores or more, Ind AS are applicable. So in India, we have two sets of accounting standards. Sir, why do we need standard? I want uniform accounting. Everybody should prepare accounts in similar way. You can't have your own norms of accounting. So we are having two sets of standards. One, accounting standards. This is applicable for company having net worth less than 250 crore and all other entities. Sole proprietors, partnerships, cooperative society, everyone, all other entities. Okay, and Indian accounting standards applicable for companies having a net worth. Applicable for companies having a net worth 250 crores or more. So as of today, we have two sets of standards. Both are there. Both will remain. Don't think Ind AS came, normal AS will go away. No. Both are there, both will remain. Both will remain. AS is for all small entities. It's for a companies having net worth up to 250 crores. And all sole proprietors, partnership, all that small people. Ind AS is only for big companies having a net worth 250 crores or more. Big companies having a net worth 250 crore or more. More about applicability you'll learn later. With simple words, Ind AS is for big companies. AS is for small companies and sole proprietors, partnership. AS is for small companies, sole proprietors, partnership. In your CA intermediate, we'll learn accounting standard. In your CA final, we'll learn Ind AS. So this is covered in CA intermediate. And this is covered in your CA final. We'll learn different standards. Okay, this is your Ind AS. So we just did basics. Now we are required to start with journal, ledger, trial balance, and then we go to final accounts. Journal, ledger, trial balance, then we go to final account, that is spending. That we take it after a break. Let's take a break of 5 minutes. We'll meet again after 5 minutes. Now there will be a new session. This was lecture 1A. We'll have lecture 1B coming up for this. Enjoy.